Good morning and welcome to FYI. It's Tuesday, March 8th, and it's International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. We're happy to be with you again. Amanza, Sharon, Joretta, welcome to
Welcome
FYI.
indeed. Welcome indeed.
Welcome to FYI.
Yep.
Morning, guys. Welcome again.
Yeah. Good to have
Sharon?
Amanza.
Yes, I'm back.
Have a little spice, a little sugar on the table.
I'm back. It's always so good to be here. When I'm not here, I miss you guys.
We miss you too.
You
We miss you
miss
too, Amanza.
person,
Miss you.
Whenever Mansa isn't here, she's actually being sought out in the comment section.
Oh,
Person,
okay.
Where's Mansa?
And we said, my alone business.
Well,
My yellow
it's so
business.
good to be with you. Again, happy International Women's Day, a day that is set aside to celebrate women and their accomplishments. And we have come a mighty long way, but I think we have so much more to do, far more to go to ensure that there is true equality
Correct.
for women in our society. So let's know where you're joining us from. Let's know what the weather is like in your neck of the woods. It's a little cloudy here in Georgetown this morning,
It is.
but we're up and we're bright and we're here. And Joretta, how was your morning?
My morning has been great so far. Actually, I've been up since around 2:30 a.m. because it's my daughter's birthday today. So
happy birthday, baby girl.
Yes, Serena. I don't know if she's
Serena.
looking.
Happy birthday, Serena.
Happy birthday.
She's 7 today, so I told her, "You're 7, baby." She's like, "I'm not a baby anymore."
There you go. There you
7
go.
and going strong. 7 and going strong.
And we thank God for her life. Born on March 8th.
Yes.
That's
So she's
I don't
good
think
day.
that's coincidental.
Yeah,
She'll be a little powerhouse.
It's a good day. And the theme for this International Women's Day is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow.
Correct.
Right? So
Mhm.
that's the
A
theme.
fitting theme, I think, when we talk about sustainability and sustainable development, we often are not able to make the correlation between equality for women and these issues, because what the data is actually showing is that women, for example, bear disproportionately the burden of, for example, climate adverse events. And so the issue of sustainability is really tied up in women's rights, women's health, and a
Correct.
number of social issues. And so it's important that we continue maybe to educate our children, educate even some adults as to why these things are interconnected. So when you talk about sustainable development, you're really talking about how do we ensure that whatever we do does not adversely affect and impact the environment, so that it is sustainable, as the word suggests. So it's really very good to sit down and study and see how it's all interconnected.
And you know what's the important part? Young people like Serena is going to inhabit a better world if we take care of the planet that we have currently, and whether it's on economic terms, environmental terms, social terms, we all got to do our part so that, as the practicing lawyer has articulated, that the future generations they inherit a better world.
Yep.
That's a challenge that we have. That's a challenge. But happy International Women's Day, gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. I know part of what we've been discussing during the last 8 days in the lead up to International Women's Day is that we want to see more substantive policies and programs as against this one-off photo op that these days can come to symbolize.
Yes.
Right?
My
More solutions of depth and breadth, as against just photo ops and feel good moments for the nation or any government, but deep policies that can go to the root of some of the social issues that we have.
I have a view.
Yeah.
It's not the most conventional view, and it might be not. Some people may not agree with me.
That's your view.
But I believe that is my view. Exactly, Joretta. But look, I think that women have to do more to ensure that equality happens.
Yes, I agree.
And when I say do more, was it Madeleine Albright that says there's a special place in hell for a woman who does not help another woman? I believe that women have to begin to be more supportive of each other. And that's a fundamental belief that I hold. I think very many times we are obstacles to other women instead of help. And it's something that we really have to be frontal about. We have to be intentional about helping our fellow women, or we will be having this conversation 20 years down the line. And it might be a truth that many people don't want to hear, but we are going to talk about it because these things only happen, or not they only happen, but they're allowed to happen because there are women who are complicit in the suppression of their fellow women. And I have no apologies for saying that. So when we're ready to have the hard conversations, the hard discussions, I think we're going to see meaningful progress. And I think we're going to see an end to the photo ops, and we're going to see meaningful policies being implemented that will really ensure. And we're going to see an attitude change.
You have to celebrate achievements altogether, no matter where it comes
There
from.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We got to see an attitude change. I think we still in Guyana are rooted in a very patriarchal society. And so deep down, there's some cultural biases that we have to confront. A woman's place is in the kitchen. There's some men who still believe that. There's some men, and Dorothy, you and I are in politics. You sit around the table and they feel that you are lesser because you are female, or that your opinion is not as...
But then there are women like us, like myself and Amanda, who's going to say, you can feel how you feel. But however, we are going to take our place at this table, and we are going to
bring our own table.
Are we going to just
bring our own folding chair?
And we will invite you, men.
Right. But it is no, and you see when you speak like this, and this is what we're talking about. The bias. You're arrogant as a woman when you are confident.
But if a man says it's okay.
If a man says it is okay, you're arrogant, you are ambitious, and the sad part about it is that these stereotypes are given a negative connotation when it comes to dealing with women, particularly women in the corridors of power. So we have a long way to go.
Well, on that note, I say to all the women looking at us right now this morning, be ambitious, be bold, be ambitious.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you endeavor to be whatever it is you set out to do. Do it with class and confidence.
With confidence. And like I posted on Facebook a few days ago, dim your light for no one.
No.
You have this one life, and you had better get up every day and do it to the best of your ability. My parents always taught me, if you are going to show up, then give it 100%. So,
But even a team being coined by the UN, coined the team Gender Equality for Sustainable Tomorrow. And that is coming from, and I dare say it's coming from all the data that's out there and the contribution that women is actually making in the world today. So everyone is seeing that persons that actually go out there and do studies and do research, they're seeing that the contribution is so significant that if you do not have a system in place that demonstrates equality, then we're going to have issues going on the line, and we would not be able to sustain the development that the world is trying to achieve right now. And persons need to get this concept very clear, because when we talk about sustainability, it's basically longevity. Of these of whatever developmental project you're putting yourself into. So once women are involved, and we can go into this discussion in so many things, finance and all of those aspects of things, but once women are given the equal opportunity to be involved in economic growth and development altogether, then the future is brighter, 100% brighter. I believe that later on in the discussion we have something to speak about when they say that women can contribute to as much as $2 trillion more if given the opportunity to invest, and if loans are given to them with the same level of flexibility that it is given to male-owned industries. And so, but we'll go into that a little bit more. But that is what the team is saying, that in order to have this sustainable development moving forward, we need to have gender equality. We need to have it strengthened from today.
No, absolutely, because it's an investment in the future, basically.
And I think the advances that have been made and that are being made by women, it can only redound to the benefit of mankind, as you said, financially. $2 trillion can be added to the economy if women bring the ideas and their intuitiveness to bear on.
I like that.
Name the gamut of issues.
I like that.
Right? It can only redound to our benefit. Listen, whenever my wife has said to me in the past, that I feel this is happening, that intuitiveness, she's always been right. I mightn't want to admit it, but she's always been spot on. And there's a natural intuitiveness that women have about things.
It is. And Joretta made a very important point about data.
Mhm.
And that is so, so true, because Harvard did a review that showed the level of productivity, the way it increased when women were managing.
Yes.
They did a review as well of COVID and how nations handled COVID. And what the statistics show, the data shows, overwhelmingly, countries governed by women fared far better, had far less mortality rates than otherwise. So there is this thing about statistics that you can't get away from. So that point that Joretta makes about data,
Very important.
very, very, very
Yeah. Well, guys, welcome to each and every one of you. Some of you have just joined us. You're in the right place. FYI, for your information. All that we see here is for your information. Thanks for joining us. We see Paul Fraser is here, and Glenford Gordon is here. Michaela Webster is here as well. And we trust that you guys have had a chance by now to wish some woman happy International Women's Day. Your spouse, your sister, your cousin, somebody who you might be interacting with this early in the morning, to wish them happy International Women's Day. You know, that's one thing we were talking about again on our program, that lots of families, people just wake up and just don't say hello, good morning, how you doing?
Not the usual.
Go to bed, vex, wake up, vex.
My son, they said to me, happy International Women's Day, mommy. And I was like, okay, we're raising them right.
You're doing a couple of things right.
Yeah.
You're doing a couple of things right.
But that's important to know it, because even yesterday, Sharon and I was discussing balance as a woman, and I think in celebrating the achievements of women throughout the world, we also need to celebrate with balance in mind, that there are some women and go out there and they choose to work, and like ourselves, we're involved in politics and so forth, but that doesn't give us an extra edge over the woman that decides that, hey, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to be with my family, right? We have to respect choices, and there's a level of equal respect that needs to be given to all women, because every single role being performed is as equally
vitally
important.
Correct.
So to the women out there this morning that's home, that's not that I think the term has been coined to the pop point right now. It has changed to home managers.
Yeah.
So the women out there that's actually home managers at home, making sure that everything's run smoothly, taking care of your children, and so happy International Women's Day to you. You are as equally important to this society as anyone else is right now. So kudos to you.
Respect and manners.
Respect and manners.
Yep.
I see Loretta online this morning. Good morning to you, Loretta and Jewel Ward. We see Laverne.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy International Women's Day, guys. Make sure that you're having a good day. Make sure that you have you put your feet up a little bit this morning.
Emily Durant and Loretta Argyle, Candy Naline Inderjeet from Region 6. Good to see you.
King.
Yep. Shivani Ford. Good to see you guys. Kim Dickerson and Jovel Ward. All you fantastic, lovely folks. Thanks for joining FYI this morning. And we know that when you guys come, you get locked into the program. You don't want your hands to move, even one blink. But we're going to encourage you guys to share the broadcast. Share. You got to smash that emoji button. Share and smash. Folks, do that for us so that other folks can get FYI as well. So what do you want to say? You want to say apply your hands to the
apply pressure.
Apply pressure to the emoji button. Apply pressure to the emoji button. Do that for us. Apply pressure to the emoji button.
I find Joretta anyway.
Shit like that.
Today, come on.
Marilyn King, how are you doing, Marilyn? Andrew Cuthbert, Alicia King, all the kings are here, Your Majesties. Fazil Bobby, is it Schuleman? Good to see you.
Lettel Preg.
Paula Johnson, the names are going by so fast.
Yep.
And our screen so catchy. Joel Ward, good to see you. Lincoln King, all the kings are, the whole family is a family reunion. Yes. Family reunion of the kings in the comment section. Good to have you guys here.
Yep. There's a lot that's trending today.
Yes.
Oh my God.
A lot that's trending.
So much going on.
Judy knows a lot about what's trending.
What's up? What's trending?
Well, listen to me, folks, right? When it comes to the
trending hitting my feet on the table, which means I don't really.
When it comes
I'm
to
not on
what's
cue.
Sharon and I just back and forth with what's trending on first and second.
Yeah. Well, you know what? GPL said just yesterday right? The still oil prices gone up, and this war in the Ukraine and Russia is affecting us here. So they were putting us on notice to. I think this is the first salvo to conserve electricity.
I think that's the first warning that's coming from GPL, because everything that was said in the statement that they put out basically says that we're coming with higher bills later.
Yeah. This is the war. This is the
They
war.
didn't say that, but they're asking for you to conserve electricity as much as possible. So, but when it comes to the climate change and all of that altogether, a person should be conserving electricity generally.
No, but the statement actually said it's events in Europe and Ukraine and so on.
Yes.
And it is so important the way something that is happening hundreds of thousands of miles away would have a negative impact here. But frankly, I don't know how much worse we can get with GPL.
That's that's the global village we're living in.
And this is how interconnected we are. And it really does point to the need for us to move very quickly to sustainable, to green energy, to renewables. But I want to put the caveat that haste must not be the basis upon which we ignore sustainability.
Yes.
Because I can
bet.
I know I sound like a critic and a naysayer, right? But because my children will be the ones footing the bill for those loans, I have to have an interest.
Yeah.
And so if the president believes that is being a critic, then so be it. The point is that we cannot make decisions on the ground of expediency and put our future at risk. These projects, Amila, etc., they need to be properly studied. What bothers me is that this government does not seem to understand that the best approach is a bipartisan one. The opposition is interested in renewable energy. They're interested in renewable energy. It does not take much for us to come to the table and say, look, what is in the best interest of Guyana and Guyanese? We both agree that this has to be done. Let us look at the empirical data. Let us look at the studies and make the best decision for Guyanese.
The first decision that needs to be made is that it's for the experts to be engaged.
The experts must be engaged, and I don't know that Brassington is an expert.
That is my point.
I mean,
that is my
but
point.
I think that the current administration, they make a point of saying we're not interested in studies and experts and all that, because we had no person than the president himself who said, I haven't seen the studies yet when they knew they were Harvard Bridge, but
we need an EIE.
It's a no-brainer.
I haven't seen it. I haven't read it. Right? But intuitively.
Yeah, but the best indicator of future conduct is past behavior. And I can't help but go back to Skeldon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the man that said unless we bring Skeldon online, sugar is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Skeldon never walked one day.
And who said recently too?
And who said recently, look for other avenues, because sugar... Again, Guyanese have to really decide how long they're going to drink the Kool-Aid and how long they're going to fall for this okie doke that Jagdeo keeps putting them on. You see, within 2 years, a complete backtracking on the position on sugar. What makes you think that it'll be different as it relates to hydro? The cost was 800 and something million.
Yes, sure.
No, many years ago.
Amila,
and it hasn't significantly differed now. It means there's something wrong. And we have
the benefits that actually come from it, because there's a lot going around right about now, especially when it comes to who will benefit from that project altogether, and the fact that persons in the Essequibo will not be benefiting, and then they are depending on the interconnected system,
the DBIS that is always down
to give to Berbice and all of that. So it's like the system that they have basically is going to be generating there at a mile and then straight to Sophia. So even the persons that are living there in that community where it's coming from will not be benefiting directly from that.
That is where you go. And so we're talking on one hand about power generation, but power generation also has to have power distribution. There are two aspects to delivering electricity: generation and distribution. And the reality is that our distribution network is old. It is incapable of taking off the kinds of loads that we're looking to generate. So again, what we are not seeing is a comprehensive plan from this administration as to what our energy mix is, how are we going to make sure that it's delivered? It's not there.
We can't expect politicians and especially politicians that doesn't have any experience or expertise to come in and actually give you a system that is going to bear merit. So I keep saying that if you don't have the experts and if you keep putting in lackeys in those positions, then we could expect to see nothing but failure moving forward, especially when it comes to big projects.
I think you all sound a little bit like naysayers and a little bit like naysayers.
So be it. So be
it.
Bit. So be it.
Everyone, we apologize.
I have no apologies to make because my taxpayers' dollars. Direct the children, Sharon, your children, they will have to be footing the bills of these very poor investments. You know, in Ghana, there's a particular project that was done, a hydro project that only works during the rainy season. 6 months of the year it's done because it's the dry season. Do we want that? My point is that there are examples all over the world. Why we got to reinvent the wheel? And why are Guyanese not demanding better? You know, I don't know.
But you know, for the cost we're doing the hydro project if we do some proper studies and so on, we'll see that time and science.
Yes, Sharon, go on with this dream of
studies.
time
and science has overtaken hydro in terms of cheap production of electricity. Right? You know, we still thinking about running cables for internet, and Elon Musk just throw a satellite over the Ukraine.
Yep, and it's helping.
And internet.
And again, if we could only get on one page.
On one page.
If we can only get on one page. You see, the beauty about coming from behind is that you have the opportunity to avoid the pitfalls.
Yeah.
There's a country in Africa, I can't remember if it's Namibia, one of those countries. But because they were so far back, they went straight into wireless communication. So all of these poles and so on that you see on our streets with GT&T stringing up their wires, it's not there because they were able to jump from wired technology to wireless technology in telecommunications.
We got a far way to go.
But it's about
the
attitude of the people, and it's about the attitude of the government.
Let me tell you about some attitudes of people. So I went to buy some credit the other day from Digicel. Tell you.
Here we go.
Bought the credit from the what's it? Rite Aid. I think it's Rite Aid. Is this pharmacy in Kitty, just off of Vicinjan Road in Kitty. Bought some credit there, right? With my hard-earned money. You know, we live in an economy, you can't afford to lose a cent. You know every cent there.
Yep.
You know everybody that owe you. Went to Rite Aid, bought the credit. It was the wrong number the money was sent to. So I quickly said to the girl, it's the wrong number the money could be sent to. Could we void it? And, could I have the money to the right number? She said, no, they can't do this at this, money has already gone through and they can't reverse it. So went down to Digicel, to try to get back my hard-earned money. The girl said, they can do it from there. The girl at the pharmacy needs to void it in the system and send them a note in the system. And then Digicel is going to send the money back to the pharmacy, and then they have to refund me this money, right? So left Kitty, went down to Digicel. At the end of it, I was frustrated. Coincidentally, the woman in front of the CSR at Digicel didn't get ready. She was totally mad. What was the issue she was looking at? So my money gone down the drain, basically, right? For simple service like that. I said that to say this. In comparison, I had a problem with what's the popular streaming network? Netflix. My bank card wasn't going through, and there's a chat box. You can talk to customer support, right? So I explained to them what was happening. The girl said she just wanted to verify that I was the card holder and so on. Once she did that, she took the number and activated the service. And she's thousands of miles away. I need a little 2x4 capital and can't get back the credit on my phone. You understand? That is the challenge that we have.
I understand.
Right? We're talking.
I understand. Right?
And the point you're making is attitude. I believe we can get all the technology in the world, all the fiber optic cables in the world. We don't have the right attitude, it will not serve our purpose.
You are right. You are right.
It's not going to serve our purpose.
It calls for a complete paradigm shift. and a complete understanding of the fact that this is our ship and we have to captain it. We are still, in terms of attitude, and I need to choose my words very carefully because the trolls like to go and nitpick and so on and say things that you didn't say. But the point that I'm making is that active citizenship.
Yeah.
This is how countries are developed. We don't go to Barbados and enjoy their beaches and their nice scenery because it just happened to be so.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
citizen engagement, active citizenship is what makes a country prosper.
I think one of the more important things for Guyanese especially is that we have to know and we have to believe that we deserve more as a people.
Oh, girl.
I think that's one of the things.
slogan for some communication company.
We deserve better.
We have to know that we deserve better. Persons have been living it with less for so long that it has become.
I want more.
It became a system in person's mind that you believe that this is all that you deserve, but you have to embed in your minds and the minds of your children that you deserve more, and whatever is out there, you deserve the same thing here.
But
I want the same thing here. I want my credit.
Attitude.
I want
but
my
it is
credit.
an attitude that pervades every strata of society.
Yeah.
Because and we're talking about International Women's Day. For example, you as a woman, you show up. Mm-hmm. You have determined within yourself that when you show up, you're going to do it with class, mm-hmm. you're going to do it with elegance, and that's just you. We find it difficult to say, you know what, I like what that person is doing. I wonder how she's doing it. Maybe I should engage to find out. Our attitude is the other is who she really thinks she is.
My gosh,
and so instead of challenging yourself to raise the bar, what you do is that you seek to pull people down into mediocrity. And that is a fundamental mindset that we have to channel. We have to challenge. And if we listen, I am over the platitudes. I'm over the sloganeering. We're going to have the hard conversations and we are going to get it right, because at some point in time, some group of people had to sit down and say, you know what, we ain't able with the play and so on no more. We're going to talk about these things. We're going to confront these attitudes head on. And we are going to make sure that our children are not bogged down by this level of mediocrity, which is one reason why I make sure that my children travel. And, I work hard, so I make sure that they are able to travel, because traveling provides you with an education and it provides you with a different perspective.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to leave Guyana. 1 year, I made sure that my children visited every region in the country.
Yeah.
Because we didn't leave. That opens your perspective. With social media as well, you are able to be transported to 10,000 miles away.
And it's important because one Guyana is not just Georgetown.
Yep.
One Guyana is not just Main Street.
There's a lot of persons on the coast.
One Guyana is Sapphire.
To the hinterland or anything like
Right.
that.
One Guyana is Massachusetts Ridge. It's Port Kaituma.
Yep.
One Guyana.
Yeah.
Right. But that being said, Spotlight, this organization that focuses on women's rights and so on, Spotlight Initiative, they have something that is happening, folks. And
as the Spotlight Initiative actually is tackling gender-based violence to achieve gender equality. Spotlight Initiative, when it's based on, as you see it here on Starbuck News, actually, I can take it out to Starbuck News directly, that they are looking at the gender-based violence to achieve gender equality. So basically, this ties in directly to the theme of the UN when it comes to celebrating International Women's Day today. And I have to say kudos to Spotlight, because I've had the privilege of doing some work that fell under Spotlight directly. Mm-hmm. And they are out there and they are traveling the length and breadth of this country, gathering the data that we speak of so often. Spotlight is out there, they're collecting the data, and they are going into the remote communities that often persons do not go to. I know that the work that I had the privilege of doing with Spotlight for a little period of time, it opened my eyes so much as to what is going on, things that are not commonly spoken of. When you go to some communities and you realize the challenge as that women are getting when it comes to gender-based violence and gender equality altogether, you know that we are a long way from where we need to be in making sure that we protect women and make sure that we provide platforms for their voices to be heard throughout the length and breadth of this country. Saying that you have equality, you're fighting for it, and it's only on the coastlines make no sense when persons in remote communities are not seeing that balance. Some persons do not even know that there are initiatives and avenues for them to seek help when they are going through certain things. So women have a long way to go, and Spotlight is doing an awesome job.
Kudos to them. I'm aware of their work, and in terms of the elimination of violence against women and girls, excellent program.
The only thing I would add here is that for these initiatives, this kind of central issue that we have with gender-based violence has become an epidemic. And just look at how we've had to deal with the epidemic of COVID-19, for instance. That is a similar fashion. This particular issue has to be dealt with. It cannot be a partisan issue, because it cuts across the political divide in our country. It cuts across the social divide, the economic divide. Too many women, especially, too many women have had the brunt of this
and have had their lives cut short
issue. And the any administration, not just this one, any administration has to make this front and center, and the president, whoever he or she is, has to own this. The ministers got to own it, and that kind of attitude, I think, will seep into the to the police forces, the police stations. That when a woman go, people are saying, "Oh, we get the man and woman story," right? Or when a woman is abused in the National Assembly, right? It is taken seriously,
and it is one of those areas, Sheridan Director, that there does not need to be partisanship.
No, we do not.
This is something that Vindhya Prasad can reach across the aisle and say, look, let us work on this, because this is a cross-cutting issue. This issue doesn't know race, it don't know political affiliation. It is an issue that affects women of all economic classes, social stratas. It cuts across. And so it's a really fertile ground for bipartisanship. And this is why the government and their actions continue to annoy me, because you are making you're not, for example, capitalizing on occasions to include the opposition, and it's undercutting our development.
But
it's undermining our development.
I think the necessity of it needs to be stressed a whole lot more, because when we're talking about having no boundaries where these issues are concerned, basically, when we're talking about that, we can be as blunt as to say that if you do not have an inclusive approach in dealing with these issues, then you will not be able to actually tackle the issues throughout the country. Because let's be frank about the matter, if you do not have consultations with government and opposition when it comes to dealing with gender-based violence and things like that, then there are certain societies that will be completely locked out and segregated in whatever is done, and the reach will not be what it should be, and we're not getting anywhere as a country altogether.
Absolutely, and it has to be a multi-sectoral approach, because religious bodies and religious organizations have a role to play.
All are involved.
All are involved.
But you know what the challenge is? You know what the challenge we have, and why it's not going to become essential? Because and that's why, to me, there's a little dimmer on the national observance of International Women's Day, because so many persons, ministers and the government by and large, had a tremendous opportunity to say there's a certain kind of attitude we're not going to tolerate in our society in the Nigel Darmlal issue, and they never stepped forward. And so when you see all of these things, all of a sudden, that's why we say it has to become more than just one day. It has to be ingrained that we are not going to treat women a certain way. And if you can pull up your own colleague in the National Assembly, then why you come and tell me in the street? Right? Why you come and tell me in the street? And so and the other issue too and I dare say, lots of people in high government abuse their spouses.
Yep. Yep.
I was just about to say
abuse their spouses,
but
and
not in government alone.
Yeah, well, I will say this. This is an issue that we have to get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
Because I have done extensive work with victims of domestic violence. It's an area that I understand well. And there are psychological dimensions to it, there are physical dimensions
Psychological
to it.
is the initial stage.
Yeah, and let me say this. Religious organizations do a piss poor job of addressing this issue sometimes.
They cover it
And
up
they
a
do
lot of
not,
times.
You believe me.
They cover it
And
up a
so
lot of times.
it's gonna get uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a conversation
We have to
that
have.
I'm willing to have, because unless you get to the bottom of it, you are going to find that something's going to happen, women are going to react, and it is going to degenerate.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that we have to have.
And I love that we're having it here. That not only one day per year we gotta walk for women and march for women. Every day of the year we gotta go there, and especially as men, we gotta check ourselves that we're not even perpetrating some of the same things. We're gonna go there and try to speak out against. We gotta check ourselves, because as I said, across the spectrum in high offices. Let me say that. I'm not just say government alone. But we know there are some culprits in the government who are not treating women in the high esteem they should be treated. And we got to check ourselves. And only when we've done that, I think, we can make real the promises
And you don't
of these issues.
understand the extent, if I can add, if you don't understand the extent to which, and like Amanda, I've done extensive work also when dealing with women. And when you understand the level of the struggle when it comes to tackling domestic violence, is when you would understand that they are men in the police force that you're supposed to go to for help that's abusing
in the
women.
pulpit.
There are there are men in the church, leaders in the church that's abusing women. It is so widespread, and as a society we need to tackle it collectively. That's the only way you're going to
dismantle it. Is an epidemic.
And you know what? As a mother of two sons and as an aunt to many nephews, I am acutely aware that I'm raising somebody's husband, I'm raising somebody's father. And so it has to start from there. My sons know that I don't broker nonsense. There are certain non-negotiables when it comes to how you speak to a woman, how you treat a woman. It starts from in the home. And they do not get a free pass because they are men. They don't get a free pass.
Well, Amanda have two sons, but I have two daughters, and when in having daughters, I'm on the receiving end of that, in the way in which you teach your daughters how they should be treated, what they should accept. Somebody should not speak to you like this. Even certain things, I tell my daughters, don't let it pass as a joke. Certain things is not a joke. The way in which people speak to you, the way in which you conduct yourself as a woman, you actually command the respect that is given to you, or the lack thereof, also as women going out there in society. And I dare say that women don't have to dress a certain way to not provoke a man. That's the first. I think that is something we need to put out there, because oh my God, that is a conversation all by itself. But as women, like Amanda is teaching their sons like how to treat women. Women with daughters also needs to be teaching their daughters how they should be treated,
and what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And so we have to do better, I think, by the next generation, by breaking down a lot of these stereotypes, a lot of these paradigms. I think we are well on our way there, because this generation different. I mean, they think at a level that I didn't think when I was their age. And so I see that there is hope, but I think we, as the older generation, we have to model that for them. So certain things are non-negotiable for me in a professional setting and in a home setting. Certain things I do not accept. I don't accept, sarcasm being directed in my direction, and so on and so forth. And people say you have an attitude, but I know who I am, and I know how I deserve to be treated, and I will insist that I be treated that way. And this doesn't just happen It comes from your own personal life. It comes from your own personal struggle. It comes from your own growth and development. You get to a point where you're saying, you know what? No, I will not accept that. And you'll be willing to walk away if you're no longer being served what you require.
That being said, folks, happy International Women's Day, and kudos to the work that Spotlight Initiative is doing. Another issue we have on the trend this morning, the morning trend, is this issue of the NBS former CEO, who is still in court for what is what he feels is owed to him. And I'm surprised by this, that this matter is being dragged out for so long. We got to bring this to a close at some point. I certain as an entity, NBS needs closure, and the former CEO of NBS needs closure as well, because this has been dragging on for a very, very long time.
It's so sad.
I can actually pull part because we're picking this up out of Kaito News this morning, and I can just to bring you some content to that. It says the former CEO had filed a lawsuit challenging the grounds by which he was dismissed from his job. Arjun and two of his managers were fired on allegations of fraud in 2006 regarding a 69 million withdrawal made from the account of Bibi Shamin Khan, a member of the society at the time. It said the men endured negative publicity as well as a trial in the magistrate court before they were cleared of the charges. And it actually said that the ombudsman's report had later confirmed Arjun's contention that he was framed for refusing to lend some $2 billion of NBS money to the Barajagyo-led government for the construction of the Borbis River Bridge.
And you see, and this
right?
is what
this
happened.
Is taken out. I'm quoting directly from Kaito News here.
Right. Well, I would say kudos to Mr. Arjun. He continues to fight, and he stood on principle. And sometimes it's very difficult to stand on principle, but when you believe that what you're doing is right, and you're willing to hold steadfast, it's a long fight sometimes, but I'm confident that in the end, he is going to be vindicated.
What is sad is that Mr. Arjun has been, I think, twice in the court system vindicated, and the same administration that prosecuted him in the first instance, they're back and prosecuting him again.
Basically,
that's where we are. That's where we are.
It's so sad. It is so sad. But they can only do that because, again, power concedes nothing without a demand. All of this government is doing is happening because we as citizens, and maybe we as a political opposition as well, are allowing it to not be challenged as fervently as it could be. And so I think we all have to step up to the game and step up.
Correct. Which brings us to the next important part of our program this morning, and quickly becoming one of my favorite segments in the program, the person of interest. Person of interest, and I'm going to allow the ladies, as it's International Women's Day. I know the guys haven't gotten a drum roll for us as yet, but a person of interest. And every day we have the program we're going to feature, not only leading up now to International Women's Day, every day we're going to have a person of interest, somebody who's making a difference. It's not going to always be somebody who is, in the limelight or in the spotlight by any means, but today's person of interest.
Well, as you see it there, guys, today's person of interest, and we started off with a first lady, and we are bringing the curtains today on the person of interest as the current first lady, Aria Ali.
The POI, Aria Ali. And we started with Sandra Granger, Mrs. Sandra Granger, fantastic woman. We touched on the women of Ukraine who have shown great fortitude, great testicular fortitude. A man I can see with the AK strap and saying, y'all come for me, I'm ready for y'all.
I know my way around, let's say. I have a military father, My father was in the military.
So we with the women of Ukraine, we looked at Mia Motley.
Correct.
Who else did we look at?
Journalism.
How could I forget? We looked at
Nazima
Rakabeer, and all the other folks. Did I miss anybody? But there are so many inspiring women. I was looking at a little bio of the Biden's nominee for the Supreme Court. Fantastic woman. Locally, we got a number of jurists. Lots of them sitting on the court of appeal. The chancellor acting, the chief justice. She was one of our person of interest too. The chief justice. Roxanne George Wiltshire. Somebody actually sent me the pronunciation. I love it. Keep a shout. Wiltshire.
Right.
Right? And we got so many women blazing the trail locally.
Absolutely.
The current head of CCI, the container uh, packaging.
Packaging. Okay.
What's her name again? It's slipping me. Fantastic woman, Paloma Mohammed, the
Yes,
the
Dr. Mohammed.
vice chancellor of the
Yep.
University of Ghana. Fantastic woman. So many women across the spectrum. You know who's another fascinating woman? And we touch base with her every single morning. Woman who sells a newspaper at coffee.
Yes.
Right? Lovely, jovial woman. Folks, if you want an example of customer service, that woman selling newspapers by coffee.
You know, I listen.
One standard of service every day.
My dog food lady. She is out at night by DSL. It is you look for her to go get your dog food. How are you? Have a blessed night. Please be safe.
This is a newspaper woman.
You know, and that level, and so
Yeah,
you have what we may call ordinary women who may not be in the public eye every day,
Correct.
but who provide exemplary service. And so today we're featuring our present First Lady, who has a number of there's a particular initiative that she is involved in terms of ending period poverty.
Yeah.
You know, period poverty is something that affects millions and millions of young girls across the world. And so we want to say kudos on that initiative. And, you know, my hope is that we will see her being a little more vocal and a little more leading on these issues as it relates to women and to achieving equality for women here in Guyana.
I know. In addition to that that particular initiative, some of the initiatives I'm referring to my notes right now is the adopt an orphan initiative, the beautification project. I believe this was out at the seawall out there, and there is an inclusivity program also. But as you know, that the more known initiative that she took was to end the period poverty. That particular initiative, and I have while I look at the initiative, and I believe that the only critique I had to it is the distribution mechanism thus far, but the intent is excellent, and I think that it needs to be given kudos to. I actually know the First Lady prior to her being a First Lady back in university level, because we actually did a degree together, degree in economics. And I know she went on also to do a diploma in post-grad actually in developmental studies. So she's out there and she has been studying. So kudos to Arya Ali. I know that based on all that I know of her, she was never a political person at all, in no sense of the word. So being thrown into that political arena now, it's something that she has to tackle and learn, and to have that balance in, because but at the end of the day, she's a woman, and as we celebrate women, who else who better are we to celebrate today than the current First Lady of our country. So happy International Women's Day to Arya Ali.
And all the women, the length and breadth of this country, you know, as Judy said earlier, and women here have been saying, you know, take it easy today. And every day, you know, we've been saying, trying to find that balance and be gentle with yourself, work hard, find a balance, spend some time with you, family, and so on, and find a balance.
That balance.
Yeah. And you know, when we were coming into the studio, we were talking about how you gotta struggle for it. It doesn't come easy. You gotta fight for it to carve out that space for yourself, for your family, and for work, and find that sweet spot there and thrive.
Because look, the reality is that from time immemorial, women have been taught that the measure of a good woman is how she gives and who she takes care of. So societally, we're taught how she takes good care of her husband, she takes good care of her children, she takes good care of our home, etc. But that is a mindset that has to change, because you find that she is often the last on her list. But I always
to receive the care.
But I always use the example, those of us who fly would know, that they say to you, in the event of an emergency, and you lose cabin pressure, the masks will come down. Put on your mask first before helping the person next to you. It's a fundamental principle. if you are incapacitated, if you are not operating at your maximum, then you're of no use to the person next to you. And so I make no apologies for my self-care. I make no apologies for taking time out to replenish and refresh me, because I understand that I'm no good to my sons, I'm no good to the politics if I'm operating at half capacity.
Yes.
But when it comes to the importance of women, you just spoke about the flight issue, but even out at sea, when persons if the ship is going down, the women and children off the lifeboat to the lifeboat first. Men, whatever
Yes.
you can.
Well, we are essential.
for
We
that.
are essential for the continuation of the species.
Continuity. Heaven help the rest of us. But happy International Women's Day again to all of the folks and all the folks who made our list as women to be recognized. And you know, there are lots of other women too who are doing fantastic things out there. We couldn't cover everybody, but during the course of these programs, we're going to keep on featuring persons as persons of interest on our program. And who knows, maybe one of you guys will get a shout out one of these good morning. But happy International Women's Day. And we trust that, you know, all of the struggle continues, as the women here have been saying. There are discussions still to be had as we advance on some of these very, very protracted issues. With that being said, our big issue for today, folks, we've been talking about it on every single program we've had thus far since we started FYI, and we can't emphasize it. It's like this very gender issue, gender-based violence and so on. Every day you got to go there and march for it.
Yes.
And walk for it. The carnage on our roads, that is the big issue. And every day we got to go there and we got to walk for it, right? We got to shout it. When your son's leaving home in the morning, they're using the vehicle, you got to say, be careful on the road. Look out. I think we need to do major public relations work where this is concerned. I saw Minister Edgell talking about the same thing. But I mean, we've been talking about it, you know, on all our programs. The minister came out and said that, you know, he's concerned. We are going to be concerned. This is something one minister alone can't solve it, right? The whole cabinet, the whole government, the whole society, we gotta turn our face against reckless road users, right? Turn our face against it. Whether it's a cyclist, a motorist, whoever it is.
It has to be. I mean, again, it just comes back, and this is where you have to understand that the culture of lawlessness just pervades. And so Edgell and the whole of them have to understand that it is either you're going to follow your laws in every sphere, or lawlessness is going to creep in.
Yeah, you don't get to say
you don't get to
pick and choose.
Yeah.
Because I want to make this point. But Amanza was the one that actually pulled up Edgell when he was making comments as to the overpass.
Right.
You don't get to critique something as essential to human life and actually safeguarding the pedestrians when it comes to road use, and then come now and speak about, oh, well, you need to be safe and all of those things, because there is no balance in what you're saying. And I dare say you have to be consistent in your message, and you have to go out there every day. You have to make sure that you caution persons every day on the way in which they use, or lead by example altogether.
Absolutely. And the National Road Safety Council, I would really want to see them playing a more prominent role in terms of dealing with this issue. And again, this is a symptom of a deeper problem that we have.
Yes.
Just a problem of lawlessness and of recklessness
Don't
on
care.
our roads.
Yeah, and I add to this that the National Road Safety Council should be given the kind of resources to tackle this problem for the epidemic that it really is. Almost every day in this country, we see the carnage on the road. And just last night, we saw at the William 3 dead. And I think there are others who are critical from that accident there. Do we have some footage of it, guys? Right, here's some footage from what happened last evening at the William.
Where is it? The car crashed into the shop? How many vehicles?
Huh?
How many vehicles? Two?
Yeah, the one up with this family part.
Which one?
This one.
This one was parked?
Yeah.
And the other one?
He running for the company.
So where is he? Is he okay?
I think he is reporting. He is.
So he died. So who were the people who died? The people who died were inside the shop.
So one of them is out there. The two of them, and one of them for the weekend. Yeah, that big already is cut out. You look like he was the driver.
I want to see this car. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's as sad as we can see it. We've been saying every single day that we've been cautioning persons how they use the roadway. Only yesterday, we took the number out of Village Voice that was saying that we had 15 persons that had lost their life thus far. Today, just 24 hours after, we are adding 3 more to that list. So now today we can say that 18 persons has lost their lives to road accidents since this year began.
And young
that
people,
is crazy.
Young people, full of potential and on the verge of exploring, what life is about. We have to do better, and citizens have to hold taxi drivers, etc., accountable.
Hold the line.
Accountable.
Yep.
Do not drive. We have got this carnival of lawlessness has to stop. People should not be able to just go and buy a license. We are seeing the effect of societal rot
because there's
there's no accountability, no place, and so
if we don't bring it to a halt, right? You can see lots of more families weeping and wailing like that.
We don't bring
it to a halt. Very painful video to look at.
To hear, possibly a mother. I mean, it is unsettling. It's unsettling to me as
So folks, I think it one of the things we got to do is to encourage folks again. Every one of us are involved, and we're all consumed by this problem. To slow down out there, be cautious on the road. Whether you're a pedestrian, you're a motorcyclist, you're a motorist, across the spectrum. Be careful on the roads. Be careful on the road.
Yeah, but I think that report is saying that persons were even not just at alignment in front of a bar when they lost their lives.
You could have been standing waiting for a bus on the road. And
so the names of those persons, I'm taking the names off of Gordon Mosley's a report that says the 3 dead men have been identified as 23-year-old Carlito Gobin, 41-year-old Kieran Rampisad, and 44-year-old Ayub Mohammed. So those are the persons that lost their life in that road accident last night. And again, we're going to say we're cautioning persons. I keep saying that we are less than 1 million people in this country. We need to be responsible. We need to be accountable. Yeah. Our actions have dire consequences. And there you saw 3 lives being snatched away from this country, from their families.
So we are 20 now.
I am sure, some of them may have had children. So you have children now growing up without their fathers, simply because we cannot take our time. Simply because, we have to stop and ask ourselves, like, what is it that we want, really? I saw a disturbing video last night of somebody drinking from a Johnny Walker bottle and driving. I mean,
wow.
Those
irresponsible.
It is. We really have to take stock of ourselves.
Yeah.
And as leaders, I think the government, etc., they have to take stock of themselves. When you condone lawlessness, for example, Tarchan Balgobin, is it?
Yeah, it's correct.
Killed
Yeah.
a young teacher, and up to now, he remains, untouched.
No accountability.
And sitting at the right hand,
but he's not the only person, because I'm
VP.
happy you mentioned that, because Faisal Jafar Ali in the National Assembly MP hit down a 12-year-old, fled the scene of the accident. That's 2 rounds.
Right.
And
Right.
seemingly no repercussions.
Right. No,
Right.
bearing in mind that these are accidents and they can happen.
Yeah.
Nobody goes about to say, well, I'm going to knock down somebody today. But again, the level of accountability that you are required to, and transparency.
Yeah. The also, similar to Terichan Balgobin, the vice chairman of Region 6, hit down and killed a pedestrian too. His matters awaiting, what do you call it? A legal opinion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing how some legal opinions
Your
are returned
opinion
fast.
went fast, like
than
an hour?
Yeah.
Your cyberbullying.
Interesting.
We have to take stock, people.
Yeah.
We have to take stock of ourselves. We have to begin to speak up, to say to them, slow down. If you get into taxis and they do whatever they want, say, no, put me out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting off.
I keep saying that. Yeah. I keep telling people that they have the power. You have the power to make
your
sure
money.
that exactly when you're paying your money to the taxi driver, that they slow down. You have the power to tell the bus to stop, put me off if you're not going to be driving carefully on the roadway.
Oh, we got prayers too.
Yes.
Lots of that. Sackcloth and ashes prayer.
My God,
lots of prayers for this country, man. Lots of prayers.
I think we should do some of them.
Right?
I think that's the answer.
That being said, our encouragement has always been arrive alive. And this program, we keep saying it. Slow down. That's what we mean. Yeah. Arrive alive, slow down. And that's the graphic we always have. Arrive alive. Slow down, folks. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Right? Slow down. And we are slowing down here as well. That's our program for today, folks. Good to see so many of you. Good to see so many of you joining us.
Andrew
Little Pratt is here with us. Andrew, always here. Marvel Jacobs.
Andrew Cosby.
Arrive alive, folks. Slow down, slow down.
So, guys, thank you again for being with us this morning. It's International Women's Day.
International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
We want you all to go out there, all the women out there, make sure that you pamper yourself a little bit. And the men that are joining us this morning, make sure that you pamper the woman in your life, or whichever woman is in your space, in your home, and whatever woman you come into contact with, not just today, but there should be an attitude that you are developing to treat women respectfully, treat women equally, and move forward in that direction.
Yeah. Hundreds of you are still watching us, guys, and we encourage you. We always say, share the live stream, smash that emoji button, and folks, we cannot do this program without you guys playing a very integral role, which is supporting us as well. And there's several platforms where you guys can support our program. Good. Several platforms, and they run across all of our programs. We are available via the Cash App. It's the $ in the ring 592. The $ in the ring 592. We're available via PayPal and Zelle. One email address for both PayPal and Zelle. In the ring 592 at gmail.com. In the ring 592 gmail.com. MMG, we're available there too. 627-6963. 627-6963. We're available via MoneyGram and via Western Union as well. Folks, to come on board and help us to do more of our programs, getting you the information that you need. FYI for information.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good day, guys.
Share.
It a great day.
Share.
Smash.
Share.
Smash.
Mine's going to smash and I can share. Share.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.